I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Hex Demonhunter is here. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey, I'm Hex. I'm Hex Demonhunter. I'm a human VTuber who goes out and hunts demons and generally blows it off and streams instead.
Yeah, well, I've got a few demons in my past. Can you think you can take them out for me?
Time traveling's not my thing, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, I mean, they still hang around, mostly around the closet, with the skeletons.
Yeah, I can come and check. There's no fee. It's all just job satisfaction. So.
Well, yeah, I do appreciate it. I also appreciate you coming on the show, and I want to know about how you got started as far as VTubing goes.
Oh yeah. Oh crikey. Ages and ages and ages ago, I had a really crappy computer, and I made a PNG and thought this looks fun. And I did some PNG tubing for a while.
Yeah.
And we're going back a few years, and it was an on and off again thing because I was a full-time street musician. I didn't really have the time to do anything with it.
Oh wow, really? What
And
instruments did you play, or do you play?
I play guitar and I sing. I'm a typical scumbag acoustic guitarist.
Oh, I wouldn't. I will never say that about people who are good enough at guitar work and playing that. You can say that about you, but I ain't going to, because
Damn straight.
Because I can't. First of all, my fingers are betraying me a little bit now at my old age, and secondly, I wouldn't know which hand to play with anyway because I'm cross-handed.
Oh, good heavens!
Yeah, I'm one of those folks who never will win at pool. I don't know which eye to look down. It's pretty sad, but I definitely envy anybody who can play that and play it well enough to get around and get on with it. That's not the easiest of ways to make a living, is it?
No, it's really good fun, right? But the weather is like it's your overlord, and honestly, it's not reliable to do. Music's not reliable at all unless you're like blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'd imagine that there's no telling what kind of income on any given day, especially doing street music, because it's all dependent on the tourism, the weather, what's going on, if there are any events across town, sort of thing. You've got your pitches and your spots, you're competing with other people, and it wasn't viable. So I got a job, and then spent a couple of years doing that, and I was doing on and off again, streaming again, 3D model, and made some stuff and did some Vroid, and now I'm sort of here, and I quit my job, and I'm just going to try it out for a few months and just go full time. I really want to do this. So.
Excellent, great. Now, was there a particular reason you tried it, or was it just something that you fell into because you thought, well, yeah, this is something I can do?
It looked really fun. It just looked really fun. I mean, I've done live cam streaming as well, and it wasn't as fun. I just thought, no, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I was also very closet at the time as well. Like I've come out since a few years ago, and there was a massive appeal of just being able to present online without anyone being able to come and find me where I live or anything, and just be like, yo, insults.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hate to say this, but I imagine you still get a few.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to dox myself, but I live in a place that's very Christian, and there's a lot of people that sort of, I mean, nobody here is outwardly spoken all the way on a daily, but you can't really avoid the looks and the little chats that start just as you walk past, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all good. People will do what people do, and people also do VTubing, and that's kind of amazing. And I want to be a part of that. So.
That's excellent. And is it with the people use the images for different reasons? is your uh, projection on the screen an out a version of you, or is it somebody that you're portraying?
It's through and through me. I'm all the way up myself about it. I haven't done music for so long as well, and I want to find the time to start doing original
Mm.
tunes, producing them. Um, and I just have this sort of fantasy in my head that one day I'll actually be able to perform as my VTuber self, and then all that's going to be the case is I just put the outfit on. You know, I mean, it's
Mm.
not perfectly me, and it definitely there's definitely some discrepancies at the minute, but
Well,
yeah, no, I mean the idea is I can show up somewhere and people can be like, "Oh, that's Hex."
well, that's it's great that you're that there's this medium there that you can express yourself
Yeah,
that way. Um,
yeah,
20 years
100%.
ago, you'd be kind of SOL, as it unfortunately is the way I could say it. It would be very tough for you to do something like this, and certainly not to an extent that's available now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
does it help you to be able to do this? I mean, obviously, day to day now that you're going to be full time is one thing, but does it also help your self esteem?
Yeah, absolutely. I I mean, I filled that gap for a long time. Like I said, I only came out a couple of years ago, and for a long time I sort of kept myself in balance with a particular game where you could you know, in a social space, sort of present how you wanted to, and people take that at face value,
Mm-hmm.
and that was sort of like my social life.
Yep. Yep. Oh,
I'd go out and I'd do my music. I get a feel good from people smiling about that, and I wouldn't think about things whilst I was playing. And then I'd come home, I'd log in, and
and play.
I'd be me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. You play Uno all night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot of people go to Uno for that sort of thing. No, but
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's
not.
a big one at the minute.
Yeah, well,
The
I would, Uno is deadly online.
oh yeah,
People,
I did spend a couple of weeks trying the online Tetris, and that destroyed my soul. I thought,
oh,
oh, I'm pretty good at this, and then I went into multiplayer and
yeah.
it did the opposite effect.
Hello, it's like I enjoy playing Scrabble is a game I enjoy a lot, and
Yeah.
I could beat friends of mine pretty easily, but you get online and you meet somebody who basically is a walking computer.
Yeah, just has words bigger than the board, right?
I didn't know you could use three Q's in a word. Golly
Damn, is that a
gee.
real thing?
Well, the computer accepted it, so I guess it is. But,
Speedrun hacks.
but here's the thing too. You get to communicate with the entire planet. Is your
Mm.
potential audience. Um, so not only do you get to kind of come on and fulfill the ability to present yourself the way you want to, but you also do it to a larger audience than you would just being at home.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another really cool part of it. I've met so many awesome people.
Mm,
I'm in a few Discord servers,
mm,
and I mean one in particular I'm very active in.
yeah, yeah.
Um, the peeps in there have been absolutely amazing. It's I feel like I do well when I'm being watched. It's part of doing performing for so long.
Yeah.
Is when I've got an audience is when I'm at my best.
Mm. I,
And
that's
it,
a real confidence that I never have been able to get for myself.
it
Um,
just takes a bit of stupidity and an absolute lack of shame, really.
mm, well, I have
I mean,
I have plenty of
it's sort of like
stupidity, but
yeah. I mean, you've got something and you say something and you play something or you perform something and you want to show something off and it can really hurt if someone turns around and says stop, man, or you know you don't get the reaction that would feel particularly good, but like it sort of drives you as well because then you're constantly just trying to make it better so that people will.
mm,
And I don't know how best to describe it. Like even socially in that environment in the server, for example, like I can work on something like what I'm working on right now,
right.
and just post it like half done, and have no problems just posting something where I'm unhappy with the proportions or the coloration or anything I've done, and instead of you know critique or anything, you get that sort of positive, just like it looks like it's taking shape.
Yeah.
It's coming along really well,
Yeah.
and sort of just having any kind of network where that can happen, and it can happen in a sincere way, it is a real boost. It's like it's very motivating.
Yeah. You got a little wind beneath your wings action sort of going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
like if I'm sat there on my own, like I was for all of my sort of VTubing attempts in the past, it's sort of just like it's a bit different because there's no one to sort of bounce off,
Mm.
and you end up sort of treating it like that hobby you'll talk to your friends about, but you'll get home and you'll just play your computer game instead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's something like, you're shouting to a wall too occasionally, where
Yeah,
if you're not regular, you don't seem to be making any progress at what you're doing.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm. And it sounds like you're a person who wants to continue to make progress
Yeah,
at this sort of thing. And I'm
100%.
yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that you've got this to focus on, and that you you're comfortable with yourself right now. I think I can hear that in your voice.
Mm.
Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, I feel fine with myself. I've found a good network of people, and I've got a clear sort of plan in my head.
Mm.
Like I've got a goal. I've written like half a book's worth of lore in just note form, and there's so many things I want to do. I love the media that surrounds it,
Yeah.
and I want to grow into that as well. I want to release songs and music. I want to have a video game down the line that's just like awesome, but also supplementary. I want to start releasing a webcomic I've been working on that just does my lore instead of just having like an intro on a wiki sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I want to create something that somebody can stumble across this webcomic and be like, oh, this is a streamer, and then come and find the stream, and,
Yeah.
and then go and find the cover songs and the originals, and then go and find this and that, and it's well, just a brand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, yeah, but a
Mm,
very personal one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like literally just sort of like, I mean, I guess it'd be I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of just have this stupidly big, stupidly ambitious dream about making it cross so many different genres, I guess.
I gotta ask.
Genres of media?
I gotta ask you. Have you ever heard yourself talking about that?
No, no.
Because it's absolutely awesome. It really is. It's so obvious that it means so much to you, and the more you talk about it, the more excitement builds up, and you can hear it in your voice. And I want to do this, and I do this, and this, and this. That's really cool to hear. It's very natural. It's
I know.
yeah, it's an organic thing, which is it tells everybody, and tells me in particular, how sincere you are wanting to do this. It's not like a fly by night, I'm gonna give it a
No.
try. Yeah, it's
I'm yeah, I mentioned I quit my job, right? I saved up enough to sort of live for a little bit,
yeah,
and that's my buffer, right? I've given myself a few months to dive in and see what I can do in those few months,
mm,
and starting from New Year's, and then see where I'm at, and if I can viably be able to support myself in some way whilst doing this, whether that means I have to go back to doing street music and stream less, or whether that means, that the stream is really growing and developing, and it's a viable income, or if it means, any number of potential avenues that I can keep doing it, then I would be so happy.
mm,
I would be 100% so happy because that would mean that I wouldn't be on a time limit anymore. I'd be able to really stretch out. I'm focusing on like one thing at a time right now, and I
yeah,
want to be able to just do it all, you know?
yeah. I know it sounds like you're focusing on one thing, but you want to do all things at once.
Oh yeah,
you,
absolutely.
you can hear it just building up in your voice. I want to do it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
all the way.
That is
I mean, I'm still finding my feet with a lot of it, but like, that's it. I feel like I'm finding my feet. I don't feel like I'm floundering. So,
yeah.
it's all good from here, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. As long as you are enjoying the process as you're getting there, too. Um, you don't want to burn yourself out and then burn a dream with it. You know, um,
Yeah.
it's a very for some people, and again, everything I talk about with this is your mileage may vary. Is it is very personal, but it's also a delicate balance of how you're doing this. And even going all in is a balance, because you don't want to burn yourself out either while you're doing it. Um,
No, I haven't really given burnout much thought, but I know it's a real thing. I don't have a circadian rhythm at the minute.
yeah.
I'll wake up and do things, and then I'll go to sleep, and then I'll wake up and do things, and if it's the right time, I'll stream. I'm trying to get a schedule going, but it's all evenings, so
you
it's like,
you're
mm,
your own boss. So
yeah. I mean, it's really, really liberating,
yeah,
right? In a way, because no one's gonna fire me if I miss a stream, but I am doing myself dirty by doing that,
right,
But
right.
I'm also I'm under no anxiety about it.
The deadlines are yours, but
Yeah,
you still have to
all
keep
my
them, or at least and fudge around them a little bit.
yeah. I mean,
to,
I get to set them, and
yeah.
I get to move them over time. I mean, I've been going for like 2 weeks,
Mm,
actively, and if those 2 weeks doesn't work out for me, and I keep missing things or being late, then I can push it back. Or if I
mm,
find that I'm waking up and I've got plenty more time, I'll pull them forward. There's always time for something, right? I mean,
yeah. Well,
when I'm awake, I've got to do something.
I gotta tell you, I really I just watched some of your stuff that you've already done, and
Yeah.
uh, the visuals. Well, the audio is excellent, obviously, but the videos that come along with it, the movement and the animation is very very entertaining. I give you big props for that.
Thank you.
Um, it really looks like you've worked very hard at it, but it also looks like a labor of love when it's done. Um,
I bothered so many people just posting them half-finished videos on the
yeah.
way, just like, how's this look? What's this like? Is this all right? Do you reckon this is good? I've got this idea and I want to do this, but and then it's. I'm pretty sure I've overwhelmed a couple of people on the way.
Everybody just now has a hotkey on their keyboard to press the button that says it's good. It's
Yeah, I
E.
wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Sometimes I wonder when I'm texting my wife if she's got texts like shut up and stuff like that she can send me. But
Have you got when the phone starts suggesting the one-touch reply?
yes, actually,
Mm.
actually at this point, we've been married for a few years now, and it's probably just she just thinks about it and the phone does it for her. But this whole idea of not just um, you know going through what you've gone through as a person, um, but now taking that in front of so many people,
Mm.
um, the amount of courage to do that is pretty immense. It's not something that I think any one person can quantify. Do you allow yourself to look back on what you've done this way?
In a way, a little bit. Like, I'm completely comfortable with putting myself out there now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got no qualms about that. It's just a thing, right? It's not the case that I'm going to be faced with, screaming hordes with pitchforks or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I do think back because I've been asked about this a lot when I perform locally. Right, I'll do a gig, especially again after coming out, especially
Right.
the first gig I did fully presenting. I got asked um, about what I was wearing and things, and I was bricking myself because I hadn't really had that conversation with regards to music. It was gigs was the last thing that I went forward with that
Mm-hmm.
in because they're a very intimate situation where you're in a pub or
Yeah.
a slightly bigger crowd. It's like a local festival, and people are all watching you. They all see you, and that did sort of rattle me up a bit, even after years of doing it out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
But I think back to like my first days of doing that, where I'd sort of like I had to get a job and I couldn't keep one, and I mean most of the jobs in my life I couldn't keep, and I played a song, and I think it was like it must have been "Good Riddance, Time of Your Life." I think the Green Day
Oh, cool.
tune that
Yeah.
every guitarist learns, and just like I played it across the street from a Greg's, and this dude comes up and just pops a pound in the little hat because I didn't have a guitar case at the time,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Can you do that a bit louder though? Because we can't really hear you across the street." And I'm like, "Oh, whoa!" And that was like the biggest feel good, because I was sat on the floor with my legs crossed, my guitar in my lap, my head was down, and I was just singing away and hoping no one was going to come and tell me off and run me off the street. And this
Yeah.
dude just comes up and he's like, "Here you go. Can you do it a bit louder?" And that sort of just that set the course
Yeah.
for me enjoying being in front of people, because there are people that will love it. There are always going to be people that will love it,
Yep.
no matter what it is you're doing.
Yep.
And there are always going to be people that don't. I mean, I've had that too. I've had people kick my case down the street. I've had people
Cool.
come up and sneer about it. I've had people try and steal money from the case, things like that. But it just gets outweighed by when the family walking down the street stops for like 3 songs because the little kids going mad dancing and
Yeah.
they're loving the rock and roll. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's the feedback you can't buy. I mean, really.
Yeah.
It's I really envy that.
That's what I think about. Like,
Yeah.
I sort of just. I'm sort of just like I'm doing what I'm doing, and I don't know if I'm doing it well. I know I'm going to do it better, but there's going to be someone who's going to be sat there listening or watching or just chilling, vibing, and they're just going to be like, "This is pretty cool."
Yeah.
And for me, that's just awesome.
Yeah. And you can take that into VTubing with the chat, and when you realize that folks are coming back to not necessarily for what you're doing, although they're not going to hate what you're doing, but they're coming back because of the personality involved in it. They're coming back for
Yeah.
what you're doing. You're on their schedule.
Yeah, I don't want to fit. I don't want to build myself around tropes and algorithms and I mean, obviously there's always that measure of proven methods you have to incorporate, right? Because that's just part of finding success, and I have to balance the idea that I also want to make this financially successful. But I want to be the case that people remember me for what they've experienced out of me. I want them to be like, I don't want people to be like that stream was good or that was some killer gameplay, because you're never going to get that out of me. But I want them to be like, oh, Hex was awesome, and I mean, that sounds so arrogant, right, saying that out loud, but that's what I want the impression to be. I want people to be like, no, I'm gonna go and click back at some point and see what's going on because I enjoyed chilling.
I don't think it's arrogant. I think it's I think it's I think it's very reasonable. But I also think it's something that sounds a little more a little more big-headed than it actually is. Because the words to describe it aren't very easy to come by, and this is the ability to go out and do something that people enjoy and want to come back for you to do it is a sort of acceptance, and it's a validation on so many different levels.
It fuels you, right?
Oh yeah, I mean there's entertainers of every stripe get that, whether they and I'm just going to say it right now, whether they admit it or not, because you ain't doing it just because you're doing it. you got a reason. If somebody comes up, you're saying you do a good job, that there's the rush is there no matter what. But that sort of validation is absolutely huge for anyone, but maybe even more for someone who has made such a big life-altering course that you have. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I totally feel that. first stream of the new year, I sort of came in, and there were a fair few friends, and then I think one or two people popped in that weren't aware I was going to stream. They weren't aware I'd been building up to this. They weren't aware of what I'd done or what was going on, and it was just they just clicked on, or they'd seen a post on Blue Sky or something, and you get that first time, that first time chat border around the first time chat someone says,
Yeah.
and it catches your eye, and you look across and you go, whoa, and then that person sticks around, and it's just great.
Yeah.
It really is just great. It's sort of just like, damn, I'm actually doing all right today. I've had streams where there's been like two people in chat the entire stream, dipping in and out, or people just lurking to support because we're already well acquainted.
Yeah.
But it grabs your attention, right? That moment when someone like they connect to you beyond just being an observer. They actually engage, and then you sort of you get to engage back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that really is the awesome thing about the VTube, and it's one of the reasons why it's so good when you feel like you're doing something right, or that you're on the right track towards doing it right, and because that feedback comes directly from the viewer. Yes. In a sense, right? It's just them engaging is a big message.
Well, it's something for a lot of people too. I hope that VTubers and performers realize that for a lot of these folks who are tuning in and finding someone to watch and listen to, they're not always the most outgoing people either. and for them to come out and say, I really enjoy your stuff, that might have been just a giant leap of courage on their part to do.
Yeah.
And now you kind of got that mutual experience of traversing that gap, and it really kind of shows how much of a difference you make for somebody else if you can do something entertaining and they enjoy it. Whether you were doing the street musician thing, whether you're online doing stuff, the making a positive effect on somebody else, and having that also reflect in you positively. That's what we're kind of all looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. It really is something special. I was going to go on to say, but you mentioned it. It does go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like sitting there playing a game or doing some art, and you're live, and at the back of your mind, there is always that sort of, am I doing this right? Is there a something I'm doing wrong? Have I that person's not chatted in a while? Have I annoyed them? Have I brought something up, or
right?
And yeah, just that little engagement, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I haven't really thought about it as much, but sort of realizing that they might be just in the same boat, just doing that engagement from their side.
Yeah.
And the impact it has in my direction is huge.
Yeah.
But I hope that chatters would sort of realize that as well. I guess it's just nice.
Yeah. And one way to kind of quantify it a little bit is that very, very few VTubers use their given name or anything like that, because there's kind of the whole reason behind it. Very few commenters use their given name.
Yeah, this is true.
In a way they're kind of presenting their own icon. Their username is kind of that icon. Now, I come from a different century. And I use my name for various reasons, because one thing, it's only 7 letters, and secondly, it's just I've never felt comfortable being anything but me doing these things. But and my reasons for doing things are different. But they're putting on a little bit of armor themselves coming online. And to make it a comfortable spot for them to kind of let that armor down a little bit and converse with you, is something that a lot of people strive for. And if you can keep this up, get a good here in the couple months you're going to give it a go anyway before you make a decision. Get that traction and get it going. You may never go back.
Yeah, it's what I want to create is a space where people can, where they don't have to think about saying something,
Mm-hmm.
where they can just be like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" and just naturally just feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I want that sort of space. I've intentionally sort of constructed things to be closer to like cam live streamers as opposed to VTubers. Like if you've seen some of my VODs, then you'll see when we go to like the game window, I'm still in a box. I'm in a box. There's a chair behind me. I've drawn the back of my room and stuff, and you got the little neon sign and all that. And that's sort of to present sort of something comfortable for. I want them to not see me as a VTuber, but as a streamer in that sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something that's like they might just have clicked off their favorite streamer game or whatever, and I want that space to be immediately comfortable for people, even people that don't really know what a VTuber is.
Yeah. Yeah. There are people who can do things like that and be kind of exclusive a little bit and kind of be their own entertainer and not have to worry about so much the interaction with chat. But yours is inclusive, and you're bringing everybody with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Yeah, it's again. There's so many. If you don't find something on Twitch or whatever stream platform you're using that you're entertained by, you ain't looking. There's just too many things going on. With your streams, you've got a lot of different things you're doing. I want to talk a little bit about an art stream. Do you get backseat artists?
Yeah, but I'd welcome that. Like, I don't want someone coming in to swing the weight and say you're doing it wrong, and I've not had that.
Well,
But I mean, you might have noticed instead of that being encouraged, I sort of just like, what do you think about this? Let's put some ideas together. I think, the badges. We start doing a design for that. We did like a skull, and I had a couple of other ideas in my head, but everyone seemed to enjoy the skull taking shape. So it was like, oh, we'll do more skulls then. What do you reckon about one wearing a pair of TV glasses? What do you one that's and like a full on like emo style or this or that? And chat was bouncing, and they were just popping suggestions in, and it was like, yeah, no, I like that. That's actually better than my idea. Let's go, and
yeah, and I'm grinning from ear to ear over here because you're a crafty one. you're disarming everybody before they even get started, and that's a good way to go. You're being proactive with it, and that tends to make things a lot smoother.
I'm not there to tell them that my way's better. I'm there to tell them, hey, let's have some fun, right? and if they're having fun, I'm having fun. If I'm playing a gig and the crowd's not, they don't have to be on their feet. They can all be sat eating the meals even or having a pint. If they're not interested, I know that because their conversation is louder than the music and they're talking up and they're talking over. But if they're having fun, they talk less. They tell each other off for talking, and they look my way, and I've got their time, I've got their attention, I'm giving them mine, and I've got theirs. So it makes no sense to me not to include them in that. Right, I go wireless on my gigs. I'll walk around the space. I'll go up to the bar. I'll order a drink and ask them to put a straw in it whilst I'm playing a chorus. And it's just fun. And everyone's like, "This is brilliant." Yeah. And then I'll sit down next to someone. I'll kick a stool over, sit down, and serenade them with some random ad lib instead of the real song words, and they'll just be grinning, and their family's just going to be grinning, and their mates are all just going to be teasing them afterwards. It's 100% brilliant. Yeah. But why not? If you can include people, if the people are there, they are just as much part of the experience as you.
Listen,
is what I'm saying.
Listen to you smile while you're talking about that. That's really amazing. I'm so glad that you come on with me and talked about this, because there's a lot of things that you're doing and a lot of things that you've mentioned as to why and how that I think a lot of people can take to heart and hopefully find a little confidence in themselves as trying to entertain other people can be incredibly fulfilling, and also can crush you like a a piece of artwork, like I try to do, just bought it up and thrown away. It can really damage your self-esteem if you allow it to. But it sounds to me that you've been there, done that. You've got ways to keep yourself going, and I wish you nothing but the success. I mean, obviously, it sounds like that if it's going to happen, you're going to make it happen.
Oh yeah, no, I've said to a few people already. I'm not gunning to be the next big thing. That would be amazing, right? There's so much fun I could have with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a grand scheme on that sort of count. Like when I stop down the line, because there is going to come a time for everyone to stop and move on to another project, or to have to, through circumstances beyond their control. I want there to be a load of stuff that people can go and see and just be like, awesome, and I don't know, it's kind of like it's like a big tugging in my chest, I just want to do this. I love the idea of doing this. I'm I can't even find the words. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
I do, and you don't need the words. Just by there's just by how you're saying it and how you're trying to say it, you say everything with it as far as it goes. Folks, you got to check out what the Hex Demonhunter's got going on. We're going to have the links in the description for this interview, and we absolutely have to have you on again here pretty soon, because I want to know what's going on, and I want to hear some more of that music that you're putting together.
Yeah. 100%. I've got kinks to work out, so you're going to see changes. You're going to see growth and development. 100%. Like, there's going to be so many different things next time we speak.
See, I'm an old guy, and when you say you got kinks to work out, I'm thinking you're doing some covers.
Oh yeah, we'll start with Lola just for the irony.
Yeah, if you can come up with Waterloo Sunset, I'm going to be all very happy.
Yeah, I've got something to admit. I prefer the Def Leppard version.
Yeah, whoa, there you go.
I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely don't. There's some of the best stuff that the Kinks did were remakes by other people. Heck, one of my favorite bands is The Jam, and they did at least 2 or 3 Kinks songs recorded over their time. The very, very criminally underrated band in the United States. I'll play them all day if I can get away with it. But folks, you got to check out and see what Hex has got going on. Thank you so much for coming on, and again, we'll get you again here soon. We're gonna hopefully you get all the success that you absolutely deserve for this, and just keep on shining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me as well. It's been really great. Like, I started off feeling a bit nervous, but yeah, no, 100% comfortable. Chatting with you's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.